Welcome back to Redneck's Dirty Hands. I'm Pete, and today we're up at Billy's, up where he lives. Got his sled. We're doing some final tweaks to it, gonna adjust some weights, and then we're gonna get out on the lake and do some test passes, see if your mama's fast. And we already know his is fast, but let's get going. So just doing some last minute cheating, eh, Jim?
Gotta get some RPMs to her.
Billy was out a couple days ago here. They got a track on the lake and was hitting 135 miles an hour, which, you know, ain't slow. Though technically he didn't hit that. Yeah, fella put somebody's kid on there and did that.
Yeah, 13-year-old.
So, but he wasn't hitting the RPM. Wants to be closer to 9,000 RPM. It's not hardly even hitting 8,500. So, gonna just put a different set of weights. I had the weights from my red and white sidewinder, so we're gonna throw those into his because I think they are a bit different. And then I think I've got your mama kind of set up so we can do a test pass anyway. See what the boost is. See what the AFRs are. See if that track actually gets some traction out there. And yeah. Let's hope for the best. What is it, the WFC? We got the official weigh-in before the race here. Sorry, Mom, I stole your bacon scale here. I'm sure a lot of you recognize that after Trudeau legalized marijuana here in Ontario. But this is one of the weights at Billy's original 3-arm STM clutch there. So we'll see. 88 grams. Okay. Now, I know last year, these weights were in the STM clutch, identical clutch to what Billy's got in my red and white one. I was running over 8,500 RPM, and that one there, that's 105 grams. It's got a different profile from this one to this one, too, which is going to make a difference, too, on how the clutch works and acts, right? So, what do we do here? Do we just throw this one in and see what happens? We could always pop this one. These ones that you had use little torque screws, and you got your weights, you bolt them in. This one here just uses magnets that you stack up and just slide them in the hole. So we could put this whole thing in, and then we can go in after with a punch or something and just push out magnets if we don't want them in there.
Let's take out one magnet right now.
Okay. Billy says take out a magnet now, so he's just gonna take the tip.
Oh. 4 magnets?
There's 4 stacked up, yeah. So you can sit there. You can only put 1 in if you want. 3.
Well, let's just
weigh it without those 4 and see. 100. So one of those magnets has got to be a gram. No, because it was 105, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So what do you think? That's down to 100, but it is a different profile. So I don't know. Right? We want you to rev higher, so technically we should have a lighter weight, but. Or do you think it'd be easier to put them in empty and then add weight after?
Let's just try that. Let's try that. Let's give that a shot.
All right. Hopefully it does nothing and I sail right past it.
Yeah, I know.
All right, well, Billy's setting up the weights there. I'll give you the tour. If you didn't catch the last video there, we put speed tracks on both sleds. So we got the 136 with the nice picks on Billy's. I got the 128 F7 style, the 13.5 wide on mine with a bunch of Woody's eliminators. So hopefully they'll be digging. Billy's sled here, it's, you know, turbodynamic, stage 6, got the 330 race tune or whatever, but it's the possibility of 350, I think, the way it's set up. He's got the side exit exhaust on her with the O2 sensor. Billy's sled, even though it is a full stage 6 deal, it's stock turbo, stock engine. There's nothing been done except for he's got upgraded head studs. And then Justin Prevost there, Prevost Performance, last time you were at North Bay there doing the speed runs, he set you up with the valve spring retainers and all that because you had an issue, blew a belt and it wasn't running right. So yeah, it was awesome of Justin, good fella, to help you out there and trying to get you. He got you up to the 136 there last time. They don't hold that event anymore, but since then, you know, we have seen this one. You know, you were running the Turbo Spec 1 class, which is, you know, stock track, trail studs only, stock turbo, all that stuff. The record was 137.1, and last family day when we were out on the lake, you hit a 138.4 in the quarter. So it's too bad that class and the North Bay speedruns weren't going, because you would be Spec 1 champ. You know, and he's got the velocity stack intake there, the super cooler. He's got the fuel pressure regulator, the aluminum cold air intake tube and all that. STM 3-arm clutch, STM secondary on her. We're running a lot of similar stuff, but mine's a little bit different.
Which secondary do you have on it?
I've got the STM secondary on mine.
Oversized?
Wow, just this.
Same as this?
Is it a...
It looks the same.
Is it
doesn't it?
11 1/4 oversized secondary on there? Yeah, mine might be like looking in a mirror there. Yeah, I got the same secondary setup. I got the STM 4-arm clutch. I got those from Hurricane Dave, Hurricane Performance there. I've got the Gap 3D printed intake that goes in the stock location, but I made that custom piece there that couples the 3D printed piece to the stock intake there. So I made that piece myself. I got the fuel pressure regulator on it. You know, we're running the same spark plugs. We got the stock CR9 E's or whatever, gap to 18 thou. I got some blue silicone charge tubes. He's got the aluminum hard charge tubes on his. He's got the side exit exhaust. That's I made that exhaust. That's actually a piece of a Y pipe off a GMC van. You know, stainless steel. The bend worked out, so there's no way I was gonna go out and pay, you know, $600 for a race exhaust or anything. So, you know, I just made my own. It works. I like it, and it moves the O2 sensor down lower. So I think ultimately get a little bit better AFR reading off of it instead of having it in the short side exit. But I don't have the race exhaust, the header. I don't have an upgraded cooler. It's all stock that way. My motor stock, you know. I don't have any head studs or any engine work done that way. It's stock turbo, but I mean, she works good. I got the same TD race tune in it, the 330. You know, I got my own gauges on there. That I don't even know why I put those gauges on there, because every time I do a pass, I can't read what they say. Billy can attest when you're going down the track flying at over 130 miles an hour. You're not focused on too much of anything except to make sure there's nothing in front of you. Hopefully in a little bit we can get out on the lake, hit that track there, and see what his will do, see what mine will do, get some good test passes in it, set the boost, set the AFRs, make sure everything's good before we pin her to the bar. And yeah, we'll see how good these sleds really are. We're out on the lake. Billy's gonna work the radar gun and the camera here. I'm gonna do a test pass just to see what it's doing, and fingers crossed everything kind of goes good. Probably won't push it crazy hard the first run or two, but yeah, let's see what your mama does.
Yo Mama is getting ready to do a run. And here comes Yo Mama. Come on, Yo Mama. You're fucking wound out for his first test run. $118. I think he's only half throttle. At least we hope he was.
Let Billy take her for a ride. We're gonna let Billy take her for a test rip just to see. Hit 118 on the first test pass there. We changed a few things, so this way I can get a shot and see it go by. Hmm, 118, he hit the same. I think the RPM's cutting out on that thing. Oh, we did a few test pulls, but we're back in the garage doing some tweaking to the clutches because, and it's a perfect time for a break, right? But yeah, mine's only running 8,000 RPM, ran 118 mile an hour, which, you know, isn't bad, but it's nowhere near where we want to be. So we got to pull some weight out of the clutch on mine. Billy's doing the same. We switched out those different style of weights in his, and the clutch wouldn't even engage. So we're putting his original weights back in, just taking some weight out of it to see if we can get some more RPM out of his too. And then once the break's over, we'll go rip them again. All right, we're back out on the lake. We got an awful lot of snow. It's kind of hard to see. Maybe it'll go so fast we won't even see it. But Billy's going to take mine and his for a pass, and I'm going to videotape and see. And hopefully, fingers crossed, you know, those adjustments on the weights made a different RPM. I just took a pull down here, and it was spinning over 9,000. So I think, you know, a lot of people say not to run these things much over 9,000. But hey, if you want to go fast, that motor's got to be turning fast too, right? Here he goes, hopefully, nice and fast. All right, here he comes. He's on her. She's dangling. 122. It's more. It was 122.
Let's get the max RPM then. I reset it down there, I think.
94, 96. So it's turned in some RPM. It did gain some speed. Now maybe look at boost, and you didn't happen to notice the AFR, did you?
Let's look at it. 12 something.
That's alright. Alright, Billy's going to take his for a pass. A couple days ago, he ran a 135 here, and the snow is letting up, the sun's coming out, so that's maybe a good sign. Alright, here he goes. Oh yeah, he's hauling. $128. Did it feel good?
It was pulling hard, but then it feels like it just dies off a bit.
Yeah, that's slow out today, 128. Yeah. Like the sun's coming out, so it's getting nice out, but I think you're getting some good traction with those long picks in there, though.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
It was arm pulling.
That's not bad. 128, 122.
But only like...
What's the RPM?
What's burning?
Ooh. Well, it's on fire.
120 pounds of boost he's doing?
22, that's it?
I think so.
I might take mine. I turned the boost up a little bit on mine. Maybe I'll get you to hold the camera and get a shot and see. I'll try and read what the freaking boost is on it.
Yeah. I think he blew a belt. Is it not a belt?
No.
Oh no!
It's
No.
I think I know what it is. I got no reverse in there, so it's the top sprocket's keyed on, and I think it's popped off.
Ah.
Because I came over and it's sitting there. I'm like, oh yeah, belt's fucking grenaded. Get over here, look, and it's like, oh no, it's on there, but the secondary's spinning and the sled isn't. So it's like, yeah, either.
Oh, shitty.
But if it's just pushed it off the top sprocket, it would just be a matter of popping the electric motor off and popping it back over. Because the electric motor's holding the gear over.
I can't pull the Yamaha!
Yeah. Thought grenaded the belt, wasn't the belt. The secondary was just spinning, freewheeling, just having a gay old time, and it wasn't connected to anything. Thought maybe broke the jack shaft, but I guess, I deleted the reverse. And that little detent that holds it in, I guess, I don't know, under the strain of pulling or whatever, the electric motor sitting in there wasn't enough to hold it over, and it kicked it back off the top sprocket. So we brought it back in here. I saw that was sitting a little bit off, so it just clipped her back in, and now it's locked in. So yeah, I guess that's gonna end the test and tune session for today. Gonna get into these now because Sled's broken. I don't really think we want to go out and do any more today. Not too bad. Billy got a 128. I got a 122. There's tons of room for improvement, and I think a lot of it was traction. He was digging pretty good with those long picks in the track. Apparently these eliminators, not quite good for the conditions we were in today, but I mean, the sleds work good. We adjusted the weights. We got both sleds revving where we want them. So, if we can find some ice, we'll do that next time. So I got it home here now and just want to verify that nothing got hurt inside here, and I'm pretty sure I know what happened. Everything in here looks good, nothing's all mangled up, and I just wanted to double check and make sure that these little teeth on the inside here on that 24 tooth and up in here weren't all ground down or nothing, and they look perfectly fine. So it did just pop off. Oh, this is the top assembly. The gear couples over onto your main top one there, and these teeth here, this is the little gear that goes to your reverse motor. It slides through the case, keys onto there, and then the reverse motor holds it over that way. But when this thing is pushed all the way over, can't go that way anymore, when you come in here and check out this sprocket, there is still quite a bit of slop between those dogs on the fork there, so it's got some movement. So when you put the motor in, it's got to be kind of offset a little bit. So when you crank it in, you got to kind of twist it to get this detent to lock in, and it holds it over. I didn't do that. When I put it in, it just slipped right in. So it was clipped in with this detent, but this was still, there was a little bit of movement. And with that little bit of movement here and this movement here, it was enough under load for that to just pop off like that. Doesn't take much, but it's enough to ruin your day, that's for sure. Got it all back together. Everything was good inside there. I've got the detent back in, and this wheel that keys to the electric motor in. You can see the detent is locked in. If I grab it with a pair of pliers here, I'm rotating it. It won't rotate any further forward. That means it's all the way bottomed in that way. So when you go to put your electric motor in, so we've got it keyed in there, and the bolt holes don't line up. This motor's sitting a little bit cocked this way, so you want to have it so you got to put some force on it to line up all those bolts. That way when you go to tighten it up, it's locked and holding it over that way so it can't slide off and back off this way. I didn't do that the first time. Like, it just slid right on directly, so that was my bad, I should have paid more attention, but, that's why we test and tune, We'll figure out, sometimes you make mistakes, nobody's perfect, but this time, hopefully, we got that loaded up so that doesn't happen again, and we can hopefully have some successful test passes down the track. So fingers crossed that doesn't happen again. We should be good. And then after those test passes out on the lake with Billy, he had the extra length of the pick sticking out, so I came back and shaved this down. I just was not getting the traction out there. It was spinning, which spinning ain't winning. So the conditions that we were running in around here, because the lakes aren't really all that great, there is a bunch of snow and slush, so I need more penetration. Billy's were sticking out pretty far. Mine were like, taking a pee in your snowsuit. There just wasn't enough sticking out to get the job done. So I've shaved her down a little bit more. So before I was only getting like maybe 1/4 inch penetration. So I've got clearance right from the top of the nut to the tip. So we're on the heavy 1/2 inch side now. But that's exactly why you got to get out there and do the testing and tuning. You know, we had to change the weights in the clutch, change the RPM, which helped a little bit, but found out traction was no good. Found out my reverse delete was questionable at best, but I think we got that fixed now. So yeah, you know, we got to upgrade, try and get better traction, get the RPM figured out, and the drive cogs, those 11-tooth anti-ratchets were actually touching the tips of the rails, sometimes hitting bumps, and we're getting a pretty bad grinding sound into there. So I got to trim just a little bit off the tip of those two to gain a little bit more clearance there, Clarence. So, you know, a little bit of tweaking here and there, and then hopefully this weekend we can get out. You know, buddy Chris reached out and said that him and the boys are getting out on Kosh Lake there to do some radar runs. So we're going to try and get Yo Mama set up, Billy's sled, and JP I think is going to come out with the red and white winder, and we'll go do some radar runs out there. So fingers crossed, you know, these little tweaks add to mile per hour. So if you're not subscribed, please consider doing so. You know, we enjoy making these videos, have a lot of fun doing it. Breaking stuff, obviously. So as always, take her easy.